cut then print, or print then cut? That is the question. Hey guys, my name is Michelle and I am the creator behind Lily Rose Craft Room, and for today's video I'm going to show you guys how to use the print then cut feature using the EufyMake UV printer and my Thunder laser using Lightburn software. This is a video that you guys have been asking to make for the longest time and I'm finally delivering. So if there's anything else you guys would like to know or want to see or learn about the EufyMake or anything in general, drop them down in the comments below and I'll make sure to make a list of things I need to do. Alright, so before we get started, if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, tap the notifications bell so you guys don't miss out on any new videos. Alright, let's get started. Alright, we are going to be starting on Adobe Illustrator. This is my editor of preference. I know there's another one, it's called Inkscape. That's another popular one, but I don't know how to use Inkscape, but I do semi-know how to use Adobe Illustrator, so this is what we're going to be using. So I did a custom size to my material. So this right here can be whatever size that your material is. So for example, mine is a 5x6. So this is what we're working with. This design here I got from Creative Fabrica. That is one of my favorite websites to use for different like PNGs and SVGs. All the designs, I love Creative Fabrica. But if you guys haven't heard of it, I will leave a link down in the description below so you guys can take a look at it. You get 10 free downloads or 1 month free, whichever one comes first. But it's Creative Fabrica and it's really cool. Alright, so this is the design that I have. I'm doing a keychain, so typically a keychain is around like 2 to 3 inches. But for this one, I'm going to keep it at like 2 inches, 2.2 inches. So here is my design. It's a PNG. We're going to make a duplicate of this and we're going to put it right on top of each other. So I'm going to highlight both and then I'm going to go to align and we're going to make sure it's completely centered. And what I'm doing here is just creating a cut line. So since we made two, I'm just going to block out one of them because the other one we're gonna use to trace the outline. So like I said right here, make sure one of them is closed because the other one we're gonna make into the cut line. So we're gonna go right here to image trace. We're gonna select that and we're going to change it to a silhouette. And we're just gonna press OK. Next, what we need to do is select right here, expand, and it's going to make that into the outline. And then what we're going to be doing next is, since all these little things right here, it thinks these are paths, but all we want is just the outline. So what we're gonna do is make sure that's selected and we're gonna hit release. So it's gonna make these as individual lines. And then we are going to go to Paths Finder and we're going to weld everything together. So now we just have our outline. And so this is a fill and we are just going to switch it to the outline, just like that. And if we go back to the layers and we turn on our image, you can see that it's perfectly outlined. So what I like to do next is I'm just gonna zoom in so we can see it better. I'm going to make this red because I need a visual idea that red means cut, because that's how it's set on my my Lightburn software. Red means cut. So we're gonna change this to red. Oh, let me just fix this. We're gonna change it to red. So red is our cut line. So if we check the image again, you can see that it's like perfectly aligned. But for me, I personally like to have a little bit of an offset, especially like right here. I don't want it to cut right here. Especially like right here, I want these to be connected and I don't want this here. So I'm gonna give it a little bit of an offset. What I need to do is click it right here, make sure this is highlighted. And then I'm gonna go right here to Object. And then we're gonna go to Path and offset the path. So just a little bit. I like to offset it, I already have it set here, 0.01 inches. and it will fuse these together, and this is what I want. So we're gonna hit OK, and then we're gonna get rid of the inside one. So if we zoom in closer, you can see that there's two paths here. Here's the outer one, our offset one, and the inner one. So we're gonna select the inner one and we're going to delete it, just like that. Since this one right here, if we zoom in, this right here is its own path right here. It's a circle, right? We are going to make sure that is selected, and we're going to release it. So we're just gonna hit release, and what that does, it separates this path from this one. So once we hit release, this is its own path, just like that. I know it's a little bit confusing, but once like you know how to do this, it's gonna be like second nature. Like you're gonna know what to do. So now, since I don't want this inside to cut, we are going to delete that. So let's zoom out, and this is our outline. And you can just see like that, and it has the perfect outline like that. All right, so next we need to make the hole for our keychain. So we're gonna select the circle tool, the ellipse, and then we're going to hold shift on your keyboard and bring out that perfect circle. And the hole that I typically use for my keychains is a, I have it right here. It's 3 millimeters, but in inches, in inches, it's 0.12. So that is the hole that we're gonna be using for our keychain. Okay, so I'm just gonna zoom in a little bit so we can see where we are placing our hole. We don't want it too close right here because you'll risk breaking it. So I think a little bit lower. Probably we'll keep it like right here. That's fine. So this is where I'm going to be having my keychain hole. So next we are going to turn off on the layers. We're going to turn off our image, and we are going to be grouping these together. This is our cut lines, and we are going to group them together. So we're going to go on properties and we're going to hit group. So this right here is one group. So we're going to go back right here, and we are going to select create a new layer, and we are going to name this layer cut, and this one we are going to name it print, just like that. And then we're also going to make another layer. We're going to do that one last, but it's going to be the registration mark, so we can just put reg marks, just like that. And so now you have your layers. I'm gonna move this one all the way up to the top, just like that, and then our cut and print. Okay, are you guys following along? Because I know it's a little bit confusing at first, but once you like get to learn it, you'll be like, okay, I understand. All right, so now we are going to make multiples. So we're gonna turn it back on, and what we're going to do next is create how many you want. So you can have like a full sheet, and you can do as many as you want, but for this video, I'm just gonna make 4. So what I'm going to do is highlight everything, and I'm just going to hold Alt and then just duplicate these 4 times, just like that. So next, what we're going to do is, I'm actually gonna bring this one down. It's easier just to bring it down. We're going to bring down right here the prints, and all these cut lines, we're going to move them down right here. We're gonna move that one to cut. This one as well, move it to cut. This one, move it down, and move it down. And there's probably an easier way to do it, but this is the way I've learned, and this is what works for me. So this is what I am showing you. So now we have our prints separated from our cuts. You know what, actually I'm gonna bring this up high. That way we can see that the little keychain hole is right here. Because if I put it down, the print is in front of that. But I mean, it doesn't matter, just so we can like visually see it. So if we turn off print, we have our cut. And if we turn off the cut, we only have our prints. So to make our registration crosshairs, we are going to select right here the square, and we're just gonna make a line. And I'm going to unlock this. I don't think this really matters as long as you have a crosshair, but I've been keeping it at these measurements, which is the height of a 0.3 and the width of a 0.01. So that's my those are my measurements that I use. And this is too thick, so what we're going to do is switch this over to just the fill, like that. All right, so next we're going to duplicate this, and we are going to rotate it 90 degrees to make our crosshair. And then I'm going to highlight both. We are going to align, and then we are going to center it just like that. And then we are going to highlight both, and then we're going to Pathfinder, and we're going to weld these together, and that right here is our crosshair. We're just gonna put this like right here, and then we're gonna put another one right here. So ideally you need one at the top and one at the bottom. I've seen people, if they have like a huge sheet, they're gonna put multiple registration marks, but typically this is what has been working for me. One at the top and then one right here at the bottom. All right, so next I'm going to be changing the color of the background, only because my acrylic that I'm going to be printing on is black. So I want these crosshairs to be white. But if I make it white, I'm not going to be able to see it right now because the canvas here is white. Just for like visual effects. So this is like totally optional for you because you might be printing on like clear acrylic or just whatever. But since I'm printing on black, I'm going to change these white, and just so I'm able to like visually see, I'm going to change the background. So we're going to go here on File, Edit, Document Setup. Right here where it says Simulate Colored Paper, we're going to make sure that's checked on. And I'm just going to make my background black. And then we're going to hit OK. And there it is. Okay, but I want these white just so I'm able to see better. Right here, white, and I'm gonna do this one right here also, white. All right, so that is pretty much it. So let's look at our layers again. We have our registration marks, and then we have our cut lines and our print. So if we take out the print, we only have the cuts, and if we take out the cuts, we only have the print. All right, so next let me show you how I save it. So we are going to save it in two different files. We're going to save a cut file, and we are going to save a print file. So let's save the print file first. So to save that, we need to turn off the cut, and it's going to turn off the red. So if you don't turn this off, this is also going to print as well, and you don't want that. You just want this printed. We're going to keep the registration marks on because we need them for the print and also for the cut. So we're gonna go on File, we're gonna go to Export, Export As. We're gonna save this as a PNG, and we're going to name this UV Print, just like that. All right, save as a PNG and export it. And okay. So next, to save the cut, we are going to turn on the cut, and we're going to turn off the print. So this is going to be our cut lines. We always keep our registration marks on. So we're going to go again to File, Export As, and this one is going to be saved as an SVG. So we're going to name this cut file. All right, you can name it whatever you want, but just for me, this video, we're gonna be naming it cut file. All right, export, and this is the settings that I use. They're just the preset ones. I didn't change anything. And then we're gonna hit OK. All right, so we're done with the editing. All right, so now I have a piece of black acrylic loaded onto the EufyMake. So now let's go over to the software and let's set up the print. Okay, next we are on the EufyMake software. So I already have my acrylic inside the EufyMake. So now I'm gonna select snapshot, and this is gonna take a picture of what is inside the flat. All right, so while we wait for it to take the snapshot, let's upload our design. So I'm gonna minimize this a little bit, and I'm gonna bring in my file. It's right here, and this is the UV print that we just did. So we are going to drag it onto the software. Now I'm gonna close this and make this bigger again. All right, so this is the acrylic inside the machine, and this is the way it uploaded our image into the printer. It doesn't keep the same size. It always resizes it like to the max size. And I feel like that is something that they need to work on. That way, when you have a design, it should already be the same size as what you saved it, but it's not. And that's okay. So what we're gonna do is just bring it down. So since I know the size that I had on my canvas, we're just going to make it the size here. So it is going to be 152.4 millimeters, and that is the 6 inches in width. And the height should be 127, so it's 126.9. So that's okay, this is 5 inches. But either way, even if you don't keep that size that we had originally made, it doesn't matter, because when we put it into the software of the Lightburn software to cut on the laser, the way it knows what size it is, it's by reading these registration marks. So as long as you have the registration marks, the size is not really a big deal. All right, so now that I have it placed where I want to, I'm going to click it. I'm going to make this a with the white under base. We're gonna do white color, and we're gonna finish it with the gloss varnish. So white color and then gloss. And the material that we're using is acrylic. So we're gonna select that. And standard quality, I usually do standard. I don't really notice much of a big difference with the high quality. So we're just gonna keep it as standard. And then that is it, pretty much it. We're going to hit print and send it over to the EufyMake. And when that's printed, we'll move on to Lightburn and the Thunder laser. Okay, it's sending the file to the device, and we can hear the little tune. We're gonna hit start and let it do its magic. Can't really see much of what's going on, so once it's done, we'll move on to the next step. Here are the prints all done. Ooh, they look so good. See, nice, beautiful. We got our registration marks there and there. All right, so now let's take this to the laser and let's get on Lightburn software, and we'll move on from there. All right, next for the cutting part, we're gonna be using the beautiful Thunder Laser Nova 35, and I already have my print loaded up. Look at how beautiful this came out. It's gorgeous. The colors, the quality, amazing. We got our crosshairs right there and right here. So next, we're gonna move the laser head right here and just make sure that it's the right height. I can go up just a tad, a little bit more. A little less. All right, now we have the right height. Let's go on Lightburn. I have the computer right here, so I could just be going back and forth. But let's go on Lightburn, and we're gonna set up the print then cut wizard. All right, so now we're on Lightburn. We're going to bring in our file. So let me go on my files and bring it out right here. All right, so let me bring out my file. This is my cut file, my SVG, so I'm just going to drag it to my canvas right here, and it's there. Okay, so next what we're going to do, let me just move this over a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to zoom in just so we can get like a better visual. All right, so first of all, These crosshairs, we need to make a template because we don't want to cut the crosshairs. These are only here for our reference. So we're going to highlight and see how everything is grouped together. We're going to ungroup it by selecting this little man here, ungroup. So now we have this crosshair here. We're going to make it into the tool or the template, whatever the tool. It's not going to cut this. Same with this one. We're going to make it T1 because we don't want this to be cut. Okay, so next, now that these are ungrouped, we are going to go right here to laser tools. We're going to select print and cut, and we are going to start the wizard. And we are going to move our laser head to this one right here. So with our little arrows, we're gonna make sure that the red dot is aligned at the center of that crosshair. So we're just going to move it along just like that. And sometimes the laser head goes more, what do you call it? Like it jumps. You can't get it right in the center. What I do is right here on the distance, we see, I change that to 0.50 and then I move it with these. So if I click this, it moves it just a tad. It moves it half of a millimeter. So to control it, I use these instead of using these because it just jumps so much. So let's see. So now I'm almost there. I just need to bring it a little bit more. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but I think it's at the center. Maybe a little over to the right a tad. We are right at the center. So next we're going to select this right here. We're going to select our crosshair and then we're going to put set. Okay. Next we are going to select this crosshair right here and we're going to select jog, and it should automatically jog it to as close as it is to that second crosshair. See, almost there, but not quite yet. So now I'm gonna use the little arrows on the computer to just move it a little bit over. And then we're gonna go down until we are right at like the center. Perfect, that is right at the center. Next, we're gonna select set. And then we're gonna select scaled, and there you have it. Now that the print and cut is done, we are going to select our stuff right here, and we are going to select frame, and it should automatically frame like around what it's gonna cut. All right, so now we're ready to send it. We are going to hit this right here, and that is going to send it to the laser. And we're gonna overwrite it, yes. And now we're ready to fire up the laser. It's perfectly cutting around it. And that's so crazy because I used to be intimidated by this for like the longest time. Like, how the heck do you do this? And little did I know, it was so simple. All right, it's done cutting. Now let's take a look at it. Perfection. Oh my goodness. I don't know why I was so intimidated doing this like for the longest time. I don't know, it just seems scary to do or hard, but it's super easy. Look at that. It has the perfect offset that I made, and they come out, they cut so perfect. Look at that. We have our little hole for the keychain, the perfect offset, nothing misaligned, everything perfect. Here's a closer look of the keychains, and look how perfect they came out. Nothing crooked, everything straight and perfect, thanks to the registration marks. But oh my goodness, look at that. I cannot get over it. And the print quality, amazing. And let me show you a closer look at the acrylic piece. See, there is no color left behind. Everything came out straight and perfect. All right, that is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you found this video helpful or if you tried it out, please let me know down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. That all helps my channel grow. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.